On Thursday, February 10th, 2011, the Wisconsin Journal-Sentinel reported that Governor Scott Walker wants to help fix state finances by cutting benefits for union workers and wiping away their ability to negotiate over anything but their wages. Many Wisconsinites figured the governor was going to try to weaken the power of employees who join together and negotiate things like salary and health care as a group. This process is called collective bargaining. The employees who join together form what is known as a union. Wisconsin public workers were the first public workers in the United States to earn the right to collective bargaining. The Wisconsin Public Employee Collective Bargaining Act was passed in 1959, 3 years before President Kennedy extended the right to workers throughout the country.
I'm Mary Bell. I'm the president of the Wisconsin Education Association Council, but more importantly, I am and have been a teacher for the last 34 years. I grew up in Adams County in Wisconsin, which at the time I was there was 71 out of 72 counties in the state in terms of per capita income. It's an extremely poor and still not a very wealthy area of the state. But the difference for me and the difference in my life has been public education. So I came to our state level annual business meeting and sat through 3 days of policy discussions and budget discussions and how the union business was really going to be done, and I saw the focus that they placed on being an effective voice for members, and I was hooked. I don't think you get much lower than we were on February 11th and 12th, when this was introduced, because it was a complete betrayal of the electoral process. This was not something that had been campaigned about. We didn't have a lot of involvement in the introduction of the legislation because, in fact, the governor wasn't speaking to us. He was talking apparently to a lot of other people, but we found out the Wednesday before that there was going to be an introduction. We got details on Thursday, and on Friday we sprung into action contacting our members. Now, as we approached Tuesday and Wednesday, it became very clear that they wanted this to move, the Republicans wanted this to move on a fast track, and that the public didn't know what was in the bill nor what the impact would be. We attempted to talk to Republican legislators, those who were able and willing to talk to us. They were looking for a compromise, and the governor said, "That's enough, we're not going to do this." He pulled them together and they passed it. Well, and that's when we put out the call for everyone who could to be in Madison on Thursday and Friday. And Thursday morning we saw them answering the call. And that's when we went from 10 and 15,000 people in an evening rally to the kind of numbers that really garnered, I think, national attention in a way that stopped the progression of that bill, that really halted a very rapid transit kind of agenda, and gave people pause that something was happening here that was not Wisconsin-like, that didn't fit with our traditions, and that really needed closer attention.
The next Monday was Valentine's Day. Several dozen people gathered at the Capitol to express their views about the proposed legislation.
Yeah, my name is Mike Amato. I live here in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm a member of the Teaching Assistants Association at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. The budget repair bill, they called it, even though most of what it contained had nothing to do with the budget. That was way back on Valentine's Day, and so my union organized a protest at the Capitol, "Don't Break My Heart, Governor Walker," and we thought a couple hundred people would show up, and we got a couple thousand. And then the next day, there was another protest up there, and we thought, if we could get a couple thousand people to turn out 2 days in a row, that would be awesome. And then like 10,000 showed up, and then it just kept building and building. And then the MTI teachers...
By the end of the week, the estimated number of protesters had grown to 70,000. Among them were teachers and students, parents and politicians, lawyers, nurses, and musicians.
Now, those are part of the public employees that are not part of the school union. The school unions only make up approximately 1/3 of the people that are going to be affected by this. And 98,000 isn't just teachers. That's all public school employees, custodians, cooks, bus drivers.
There are economic parts, and then there are the parts that divest people of collective bargaining rights. And that has nothing to do with the economy whatsoever.
There's a bunch of other junk in the bill. There's death panels in there.
260 University of Wisconsin professors all signed a letter in support of workers' rights.
He's cut off a hearing that had thousands of people registered to still speak.
We are going to lose $8,000 right off the top immediately.
The head of the largest state employees union suggested that they would accept the economic changes,
He has refused to negotiate.
but don't take away our bargaining rights.
I'm from down south.
Walker's response was to say no.
Go down south and see what you get with no unions.
There's been a talk about a brain drain.
We have second best health care in the nation in Wisconsin,
They use the system more than we do.
and this will gut that.
We just use the system to go back and forth to work.
Teachers in my school district have been paying 10% of our health care benefits for 35 years.
Calling for a vote before the scheduled time for a vote.
And expect it to be voted on a Thursday.
It could potentially push over 60,000 senior citizens and working families off, take away their health insurance benefits right now.
They use it for enjoyment.
If he claims that this is a Wisconsin action, it's not in the least.
I took my personal day to be here. I burned it. It's gone.